So you meet this guy, and you really like him. You're attracted to him. He's really kind. He's funny. He hits all of those magical buttons for you. This might have been online that you meet him. This might have been in person. Doesn't matter. So you go on a date, and he's late. Let's say he's 20 minutes late. What do? And let's say this is even worse, because, a first date or the first time he's late, we could write that off, right? That's just an accident. That's just a fluke. But let's say you go on a second date, and he's late again. He's late another 20 minutes. Now what do? This is what we're going to be talking about today, because many women have experienced this before. If not this exact situation, then something like it. You got a man who's chronically late or frequently late, and he's just not really fully respecting your time and your energy and you as a person. And he might not even know that you take that so seriously. He might not know that being on time is something that's really important to do. So what do? I mean, this is a guy you really like. This isn't some loser that, means nothing to you. You really like him, so you want it to work out. You're not just going to say, hey, this isn't working out. You want it to work out. So, first of all, I am going to explain fully what you really need to be doing and what you need to be saying as a feminine woman, because there's many things that you could be saying as a more masculinized woman that is going to push away a man, especially if he's more in his masculine energy. And if you really like him, if it's a man you really like, then he probably is more in his masculine energy, hopefully. Otherwise, he's really going to waste your time. So we're going to talk about that, but first, just talking about lateness in general. So this is a really important topic, and women can go one way or the other here, right? You could be the doormat who just tolerates stuff, right? You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to be too much. You don't want to be too sensitive, especially with a guy that you really like. So you are more easygoing than you should be. It's good as a woman to be easygoing. Right? As a feminine woman, you're easygoing, you're easy to please, all of that stuff is really great, but that doesn't mean you're a doormat. That doesn't mean that you don't communicate your needs, you don't communicate your feelings, you don't show a man your heart, including and especially all of the negative feelings that are in your heart, especially when he triggers them because of his own behavior. You need to be able to show that. And in my personal experience anyway, most women are much more on the doormat side of things, especially early on, right? When a woman gets more comfortable and she feels more safe in a relationship, like he's not going to abandon me the first time that I communicate my feelings, then maybe more of a woman's nagging masculine energy will come out. But really early on, the biggest issue that I see from women, not just in my personal life, but also with my women clients in my academy program, is that they stay silent when they shouldn't. Just don't want to get rejected. Or you don't want to hurt the man's feelings. Or you don't want to be too much in whatever way. So that's one really big problem. And what's going to happen if you do that? Well, first of all, you're going to attract men who are going to be more likely to be takers, who are going to just use you, who are going to take advantage of you in some kind of way. And they're not going to feel much attraction to you, right? The men that you do attract, they're not going to feel much attraction to you, at least as time goes on. Early on, they might be attracted physically and they might enjoy whatever energy that you're carrying. But as a man senses more and more that you're not operating from your feminine self-worth, that you don't feel that self-worth inside of you, which you don't. If you're not communicating your needs and feelings early on, then you're not operating in your self-worth. The longer that you do that, the less attraction a man is going to have for you. And the less respect he's going to have for you, the less inspiration he's going to have to serve you, to take care of your heart. Probably not something that you want. The other issue that women will exhibit, and this is going to be on the far other side of the spectrum, and this tends to happen more often like in a relationship when a woman gets comfortable, but it can happen early on, and I've experienced that as well on occasion, and I see some of that in my clients as well, is women who will communicate, but they will do it in a masculine way. Now, that masculine way doesn't need to be really aggressive, like, hey, why are you late? Stop being late. I'm setting a boundary here. Typically, that's not what I see. It's very rare that a woman's going to be like that. But she certainly could be making a judgment about the man's behavior. Like, hey, you're late. I'd really appreciate it if you showed up on time. Saying something like that is energetically masculine. It is making a judgment. It's energetically penetrative, and it is going to cause a man to lose inspiration to take care of you. In some ways, he might respect you more, like, okay, this woman isn't a doormat, and I would say between the choices of being a doormat and being a woman who stands up for herself in a somewhat soft and masculine way, it's better to stand up for yourself. If it was between one choice or the other. But the thing is, we can do way better than that. I'm going to tell you about how we can do way better than that. Because especially as a man, the more masculine that a man is, the less that he is going to enjoy that kind of communication. Men who are really in their masculine energy and embodied in their masculine, they're probably going to be on time. But let's just say that it's a man that's not fully on time and you're communicating in this kind of way, it's going to turn him off. Like, a man who's in his masculine energy is going to be turned off by a woman who is in her masculine energy, even if it's softened masculine energy. And this is so much of what the problem is for women. Like, ladies, I feel so much compassion for you, because pretty much nobody is here teaching you this. And it's not your parents, it's not femininity coaches, because they're actually teaching a softened masculine way of communicating with men, which does work with emasculated men. It does. With men who are, like simping men who will like people please, who may be wearing a masculinity costume, right? So they kind of appear masculine. They kind of are acting the part. They're acting the part of the provider and protector, but it's from the wrong energy. So you don't feel this overwhelming attraction for him. That's the kind of man that I'm helping you attract. Or if you're in a relationship already, then to inspire your man to become that kind of man. Wouldn't that be nice? It's like you're just so attracted to him all the time. You can't get enough of him. You feel so safe in his presence. You're able to just fully let go. You feel like a little girl. That's the kind of man that we're talking about. But you really need to be able to speak to a man in a certain kind of way. And I call it soften masculine communication. That's not the way. It's just not going to attract that kind of man. So I'm going to tell you more about how to communicate and what to do in this kind of situation where it's not the doormat and it's not the more masculine, soften masculine communication. It's something, we'll call it in between, but it's really just feminine embodied you, right? And it's not about being someone you're not. It's about being who you really are, truly. Underneath the fear, the social programming, your shame, all kinds of stuff. When we dig through all of that, there's a way of expressing yourself that's going to feel so good for you, most importantly, but also so good for the man, where he actually feels more attraction to you, more connection to you, more inspiration to serve you, all because you shared feelings and like literally negative feelings about him, and you can cause a positive reaction in that way. That doesn't mean he's going to enjoy the fact that he hurt you in some way, but he feels compassion for you. He feels that desire to do better as a man, and not from a weak place, not from a shame place, but from a powerful place. Like, I'm her protector. I want to be the best I can be for her. Very, very powerful way of doing things. So we'll talk about that in one moment. First, I'm going to introduce myself. I haven't done that yet. So my name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. And if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below, hit the notification bell, and be sure to like this video, because I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you. And if you would like help learning how to shift out of your unhealthy control patterns that are repelling the kind of devotion that you need and deserve from a man, then go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the link to my main website, relationshipofyourdreams.com. Go there, and there's a bunch that you can do there, but one thing you can do there, you don't want to pay anything yet, you're not really sure maybe about whether this is the real deal, then just start with my free training, 45-minute training, and it's on there. You get that, you get instant access to it, and just watch it so that you can understand how to make these shifts and how it's going to transform everything in your love life, whether you're single or in a relationship. Okay, so back to the good stuff. What can you do in this situation? First of all, you got to be honest. Ladies, it is a beautiful thing for a woman to be honest, radically honest in a feminine way, where your heart is on your sleeve, where you're not trying to control a man's perceptions of you in any kind of way. You're not trying to be someone that you're not trying to get him attracted to you. You're not trying to avoid him losing attraction for you or avoiding him abandoning you or being angry at you. You're not managing him, because all of that is control. It's perception management. And that might look feminine depending on, many women are trained in perception management unconsciously. And it might look very feminine, but it doesn't feel very good for you, does it? If you do that, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't feel good. And on some level for the man, it's not going to feel good for him either. He might not be able to pinpoint exactly what's going on, but he knows on some level that you're controlling him when you do that. So it's not going to work. The only way to be truly feminine is for you to fully energetically let go. All the guards around your heart, all of the strategizing, unconscious strategizing that you do, you're letting all of that go. You're just opening yourself up to him so he can see you fully emotionally naked, heart on your sleeve, but not in a way where you're a victim. You're not in that victim energy. You're not trying to get sympathy. Again, that's perception management, right? Having him see you in a certain way. You're not putting your feelings onto him. It's a very, very common thing that women will do. One of the very unfortunate things that women do, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is women will communicate their feelings, and they might even be communicated, like you might actually share the real feeling. Like we talk about that in other videos, like, that you feel sad, that you feel angry, you feel shame, whatever it is. You share the real feeling, but energetically you're putting the feeling onto the man. And he's going to feel that. And then what's going to happen? Well, he's probably going to get defensive. He's probably going to criticize you in some kind of way. He's going to make it about you. Or he might just get quiet and energetically withdraw because of his own shame spiral. There's many possibilities. But the one possibility that's not happening is you're not being cherished. You're not inspiring him to step up and take care of you. And then, of course, you learn that really, really unfortunate message, which isn't true. That your feelings are not worthy, your feelings are not important, that it's not safe to communicate your feelings. It's a horrible message to learn because it's not true. It's totally fictional. The problem isn't your feelings. Your feelings are beautiful. Your feelings are worthy. Your feelings are important. Any even remotely masculine man wants to hear your feelings, but you can't energetically put those feelings onto him. And this is difficult to teach in these YouTube videos, right? This is what I do in my academy program, and it can often take months to really feel the difference and make those shifts and get like a completely different result. But, I'm doing what I can here in these videos for you to understand what I'm talking about. When you are truly clean in your communication, when you share your feelings from that truly vulnerable place, a man feels that care. The first time I ever felt that, and I will share this story over and over again, it's when my wife was vulnerable with me for the first time. This was like 3.5 years into our relationship. Man, imagine going 3.5 years with never sharing your feelings vulnerably. She thought she had shared her feelings vulnerably with me many times, but she never had. And I always responded defensively. I always responded from a wounded place. And to be very clear, ladies, I will never take away the man's responsibility for his reactions, okay? This is not about blaming you for a man responding badly, okay? A man is responsible for his own behaviors. He's responsible for his own wounded reactions. But it's important for you to see how you can trigger those unhealthy reactions in him. It's important to see how you're co-creating those reactions in him. And the flip side, it's completely the same as well, right? That a man can trigger unhealthy behaviors in you. And you're responsible for those behaviors, but a man needs to look at himself and see ooh, yeah, maybe I should stop being a dick. Maybe I should start being more considerate and anticipating her needs more, right? It's a beautiful co-creation. So there are things that you are doing to get those unhealthy reactions. When my wife was truly vulnerable for the first time, and she shared all this negative stuff about our relationship and how I dropped the ball, but she did it cleanly, energetically. She wasn't putting it on me in any kind of way. And in that moment, all I felt was compassion for her. All I felt was a desire to want to be a better man for her, to want to be the best man that I could possibly be. Isn't that the kind of response you would like from a man? He's not doing it to please you, not in that people-pleasing way. He's not doing it out of fear of losing you. He's not doing it because you're boss babe and you're scaring him into changing. He's doing it just because he wants to take care of your heart more. It's beautiful. So how do we do that in this situation? Let's go back to this situation. So let's just say, just to make it really simple and get rid of some of the nuance, this is a repeated thing that he has done. Okay? This is a pattern. It's happened twice, happened 3 times, whatever. You're starting to feel feelings. Now, what are you going to feel? Do you feel angry? Do you feel sad? Do you feel anxious? It's certainly possible to feel anxious, right? Does he not care about me? Or did something happen to him? Or is this going to be the way it's going to be for our whole future? Anxiety can be a big feeling, often with other feelings as well, right? So maybe you feel anxious and you feel angry at the same time. Maybe you feel some shame. That's also possible. It's that you're doing something wrong. It's depending on how you're wired, depending on what your wounds are. Regardless, you got your feelings. Let's say it's anger, because anger's a fun one. Anger is a great emotion that so many women really struggle to share, to communicate, because that one men can really react to. The reason the women get bad responses from communicating anger is because they will communicate it in a way that is energetically penetrative. They go into blame. They blame the man. There's judgments. You might do it calmly, but there's still judgments, and then he feels it, and then he responds really badly. So the first thing that you need to do is know what you're feeling, sit with the energy that you're in, right? Like, are you feeling like going into a blame energy? If so, that's a problem. Regardless of what the feeling is, you need help with your feelings in that moment. Like, yes, he is doing something that is a problem. Granted, fully problematic. But in that moment, you have a problem. And that problem is your feelings. Because you're feeling, well, use anger, right? Some anger. And maybe that's also causing some disconnection for you. That's a problem as well. So you need help with your feelings to repair the disconnection or to repair whatever issue the feelings are causing. And so you need to ask for help. May I please have some help with my feelings? When you do that, I mean, for some women, actually for most women, including my clients, that's a really big thing to ask because it's so permissive, it's so vulnerable. Women will hide behind judgments all day long. Judgments and silence and questions, non-permissive questions. But when you ask that, you're asking for something big. You're asking for a need to be met, a really deep need, a need that may not have ever been met before in your life by your caretakers, by your parents, by your teachers, by boyfriends, by past husbands or husband. And it's a neglected need. And so it's scary to ask that way because of the possibility, the perceived possibility, that need is not going to be met, that you're going to be rejected, that you're going to be abandoned. And so it's no wonder that you cover that up in judgments and other ways of communicating. But that's what you need to do. You need to get that vulnerable, because if you do almost anything else, you're going to be going into blame and judgment and energetic penetration and leading, which is disrespectful to a man. Even if he did something wrong, it's still disrespectful, right? Just like if you do something wrong and he yells at you or like kind of shames you or belittles you or whatever, that's not cherishing you, right? So even if you do something wrong, a man still needs to hold a cherishing energy, treat you with care, treat your heart with care. When a man does something wrong, you still need to communicate in a way where you're expressing reverence for him or deep respect for him as a man, as the leader. So when you do that, a man is going to tend to be much more receptive to what you have to say, and then you communicate what you're feeling. So what is that feeling? And I'm not going to go into this video, I've shared it in other videos, but it's important that you're sharing the actual feeling and not judgments, right? Like if you share, I feel disrespected right now, well, that's not a feeling, that's a judgment. And even if you were really permissive in what you shared and you shared it really softly, a man's typically not going to respond too well to that, especially if he's really masculine, because you're judging him in that moment. If you share, I feel a lot of anger towards you, I don't know how to let this go. Now you're being much more vulnerable. Now you're really owning that feeling and you're owning that problem, and a man's going to tend to be much more receptive. He's going to tend to be much more inspired, even if it's something that he did. Even if it's something that he did that's like through no fault of his own, like say it was just crazy traffic and he like really planned things ahead of time and still the traffic was ridiculous and there's this car accident and all of this, he can still feel that care because it's like, it's not about what he did wrong. You're not judging him for that or blaming him for that. The problem is you're struggling with these feelings. And now it activates his instinct, his masculine instinct, to want to protect you and help you and, you know, rescue you, not in an unhealthy way, not in an unhealthy rescuer way, and provide for you and provide solutions for you to help you with this situation. That's what the masculine is wired to do. It is to help the feminine through his provision, through his leadership, through his care, through his reassurance, through his accountability, through whatever it is, but through his choice, because you're not penetrating him and blaming him and kind of taking away his autonomy, not giving him the respect that he deserves. You're communicating in a way where he really wants to be as accountable as possible and help you instead of going to that defensive-ness. And of course, there's much more to this conversation of how it could transpire and how he might respond. I don't have I could go into this for hours. I'm not going to do that in this video, but that's the gist of what you need to do. And when you do this, you're going to tend to experience a much different kind of result from a man, where he's going to want to take care of you. He's going to want to take accountability. He's going to want to be a better man for you. And even though we're not going to go into the nuance of feminine communication, that's something you can always learn in our academy, or there's other offers that I have on my website, but it's the energy that matters. Okay? All the communication that I give you and I give my clients, it's about helping shift you into that vulnerable energy. This is not about you becoming someone that you're not. This is not about turning you into a femininity robot. This is about helping you become the woman that you truly are. The beautiful, feminine, vulnerable, open-hearted woman that you really are underneath all of that crap. I don't say that in a judgmental way. I mean that crap that, through no fault of your own, the programming from your parents and the guards that you had to put up to protect yourself, and the past hurt and resentment from past boyfriends, all of that crap, which you also have to love, right? It's not about repressing that. It's about being able to fully feel that as well. But that stuff is trying to protect your beautiful, vulnerable heart. And it's compelling you into these unhealthy control patterns, unhealthy expression patterns, communication patterns that are repelling the kind of devotion that you need and deserve from a man. I'm here to help you shift that, because you deserve that devotion and you can have it. I don't care what your excuses are, whether it's age or, you failed so many times, or, every time you get with the man, things go well and then it goes badly. I've heard everything. I've heard everything from my clients, and I've seen it turn around. And it can turn around for you. You just need to be committed. You need to learn enough about how to actually make these shifts, have the right roadmap of how to communicate differently, how to deal with your feelings when they come up, how to honor your heart. You need to practice over and over again. You have to continue to be courageous and resilient in a feminine way, and you can have that kind of love. And I want to help you. You can do that alone. It's just way, way harder to do it alone. Just watching free YouTube videos, but they will really help you, right? Hopefully the more that you binge watch these videos, the more that things are going to start to click, the more that you're going to get it. The more that, that past video where you're like, oh, what is he saying? That doesn't really make sense. That sounds kind of misogynistic or whatever. It all starts to click. And you start to realize, like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. This is what I need to do. And I'm starting to understand the communication more. So you can do that. But you know what a much faster way is, a much easier way, much less painful way, is just getting my help. This is what I help women do. And I do that in our academy program, where I will lead you, my team and I will lead you through making these shifts. We will lovingly correct you when you make mistakes. We'll show you where you're off in your energy. We'll show you your blind spots. We'll show you how to apply this into your love life, with your current man, or, with men that you're going out with on dates. We'll help you with your profile if you're single. We'll help you with whatever you need to make these shifts. So you got a bunch of difficulty feeling your feelings, you repress your feelings, you push them away, whatever, will help you with that as well. And we'll make this journey, instead of it taking years and years and years and maybe even decades for some of you, we'll shorten that journey into a matter of months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, until you're really starting to get what you need. You're getting that devotion from a man, and this starts to click and it becomes easy. If you would like help with that, go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the link to my main website, relationshipyourdreams.com. Watch the video there. Learn about how we help our clients and make these shifts. Hear it from my clients themselves. Got a whole bunch of videos, including the main one, about how my clients make these shifts, how transformative it is for them. And then book a call with me. Link is there on the website. And on that call, it's free, 100%. We'll talk about what's going on in your love life. We'll talk about where you're stuck. We'll talk about how you're repelling devotion. We'll talk about what you need to do to shift. We'll talk about how you need to communicate differently. We'll talk about your limiting beliefs that are holding you back from that. And I'll tell you everything that I see. We'll have a lot of fun. It's just me. I'm not going to be mean. I'm going to be very loving, of course. So some women get scared talking to me. Just a normal, fun conversation. You will be sharing your feelings. I'll be helping you with your feelings, and we'll have a great time. And then we'll decide together, does our academy program, does working with me make sense? And if I believe it does, and if you believe it does, then we'll talk all about it. You can ask me any questions you have about it, and then you can decide whether you'd like to step into it. If that's you, then book that call. relationshipyourdreams.com. It's below the video in the description. I'll see you there. We'll have a great time. Then we'll help you change your life. That's it for this one.